And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome into a live edition of Hoops from the Hills. Um, Interesting episode for today. We're going to be talking about some expansion talk. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about that here the last 2 days. There's a bunch of reports out there talking about the NCAA tournament and the expansion thereof. Got a cool article we're going to pull up about that. But let's get some sponsorship ad reads in really quick while we wait on anybody to come in, and then we'll get on with the show. Hope everybody's having a good evening. So today's video is sponsored by Magic Shot Auto Spa and Tint in Morgantown, West Virginia. At Magic Shot, your vehicle's care is their top priority. They use only the highest quality products to ensure your car not only looks its best, but is also protected and maintained with the utmost care. From window tinting with top-of-the-line Max Pro Tint to protective ceramic coatings from Diamond Protec, they've got you covered. Drive in today and experience the difference at Magic Shine Auto Spa and Tint, where your car shines like new. Shine on, Morgantown. And this episode of Hoops in the Hills is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive. Friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia, DutchMillerAuto.com, or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you. What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and this is another edition of Hoops from the Hills. Glad to see you in here, guys. Welcome, Robert Gurney. Welcome, Mountain Mama. Robert, I can't answer that question publicly, sir, but a lot of things kind of happened, but thank you for asking. But just we had to move on. He really wasn't able to give the time to the channel that he needed to. And so that's basically the main reason. So that's as much as I can say, sir. Sorry about that, man, if you're disappointed. Pokemon Kid Entertainment, welcome in, sir. Welcome, Mountain Mama, Robert Gurney, and a few others are in here so far. So there's been a lot of talk today about expansion in college athletics, namely the NCAA tournament at this point in time. And I've got an article at the ready from ESPN.com that I'm going to read some of. I don't know how deep I'm going to go into it, but we'll see where, because it seemed to be pretty long. So, excuse me, when I was pre-reading it before the show, I thought, well, I'll just see where it's, I'll stop where it makes sense. So let's get over here to ESPN.com and kind of read what this is kind of about. Source: NCAA president presents tournament plans for 72 and 76 teams. The NCAA has presented a plan to Division I conference commissioners that would expand the men's and women's basketball tournaments by 4 or 8 teams alongside an option to leave each field at 68 teams, a source confirmed to ESPN on Thursday. The proposals were outlined to commissioners this week by the NCAA Vice President of Basketball, Dan Gavitt, and NCAA Vice President for Women's Basketball, Lynn Holzman, the source said. Under the proposal, the expansion of 68 field included both 4 and 8 team models. The NCAA would keep its 64-team bracket, but would also add play-in games involving the numbers 10 through 12 seeds. If the men's tournament expands, it's expected to be the women's tourney would as well, Yahoo Sports first reported on proposals. It is appropriate to look at expansion, and we need to do that, ACC Commissioner James Phillips said Thursday during the Associated Press Sports Editors Summer Conference. We're looking at it. Phillips didn't go into details on the proposal, which he said now goes in front of the basketball committee, basketball oversight. When do you get to the point when the regular season doesn't matter, Phillips said. Modest expansion is something I would prefer. And that's something I also agree with. There are many in college basketball who have said that they believe the 68 team fields and 3 weekends of play are ideal, but pressure has grown to add teams and games to one of the most popular sporting events in the U.S. calendar. Last year, the NCAA Division I Board of Directors approved recommendations that included allowing 1/4 of the teams in larger sports to compete in championship events. In that scenario, the March Madness tournaments could expand to nearly 90 teams, which is just insanity. Sources told ESPN during this year's tournaments that ongoing discussions about expanding March Madness would result in no more than 80 teams for the men's event. The NCAA is in the midst of an 8-year extension on its TV deal for the men's tournament worth $8.8 billion that runs through 2032, and that would not be expected to change if a handful of teams are added. More games will provide a small boost through ticket sales and merchandise, but the pool of money the NCAA uses to pay out conferences and member schools would essentially stay the same. What could change, however, is how the money would be divided up if the tournament broadens. Expansion would also mean them to find an additional site besides Dayton for Tuesday and Wednesday. Women's playing games are at the same campus sites at the first 2 rounds of the tournament. Expansion is largely backed by larger conferences, and smaller leagues do not want to lose the automatic bids that come with conference tournament championships or face the prospect of being slotted for the play-in games. The earliest the NCAA could expand would be the 25-26 season. The source said, the NCAA Basketball Oversight Committee meets next week, and the Tournament Selection Committee has a meeting next month. The men's tournament last expanded in 2011 when it went from 65 to 68. The women's tournament went from 64 to 68 in 2022. The women's tournament is coming off its most successful year ever. That included a record audience of 18.7 million, which is astronomical, for the title game win by South Carolina over Iowa, the highest for a basketball broadcast of any kind in 5 years. It outdrew the men's championship game when UConn claimed its second consecutive title with the win over Purdue by nearly 3 million viewers. The women's tournament also had record attendance. So on that last part, though, I would be willing to bet the house that that doesn't happen again. And I would bet you that the women's tournament pulls maybe 6 or 8 next year. I would love to be wrong, but I think, the player involved in those games had a lot to do with why that was. So this is wild, man. More expansion, huh? For me, it's like, what exactly are they doing it for if not for more money? And who's getting it? Because it's not going to be the conferences or the teams in conferences, really. I mean, it surely couldn't be that much more. So it's got to be going to the NCAA's pocket, you would assume. And then you wonder, about the Brett Yormark thing, where people have speculated and mentioned that perhaps he wanted to move away from the NCAA and do something different, and if they're still, actively expanding and different things like that, it sounds like that maybe that may not be something that happens. Interesting stuff there. I just don't know. I'm not much of a fan of it. I think it starts to dilute the product at any more teams. I mean, I could see maybe 4 more teams, but man, the teams at the 16th, 15th, and 16th seed, although they've gotten more competitive over the years, the 15th and 16th seed teams, 14, are still significantly less talented than the teams slotted way up ahead. And, if you do play in games for teams, and all you're doing is diluting the tournament with worse teams, in my opinion. You want to have as many good teams in the tournament as possible. Now, if you're telling me you're going to give those slots to Power 5 schools, I might consider it, because there are good Power 5 basketball teams that are in there around that 17 to 18 win mark that could go on runs. But also, I don't want to leave out mid-majors totally. I'm not saying there aren't some that could win, but usually the mid-majors that are good have a ton of wins. Mouth is dry today. What's up, Sasquatch? Hey, how you doing, man? Didn't mean to retract. It's okay, man. It's all good, brother. Don't forget to like the video, guys, here before we get any further. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and drop a comment below. I need 3 people. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, to subscribe to my football channel, because I am 3 people away from 2,000 subscribers over there. And I've been waiting like 6 months to get there. It's been insane, man. So if anybody's watching this is not subscribed to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football, all you got to do is type that in to the Google bar or whatever, and should be good to go. Another thing I wanted to get to today, guys, is since there's not a whole lot of conversation going on in the comments about this expansion thing, there was a guy on YouTube that broke down West Virginia the other day, and he did a really good job of doing it. I was really, really impressed with some of the stuff he had to say, the way he broke down some of Tucker's game, some of Javon Small's game, and really convinced me, once I looked at it outside of my own perspective, that I still think we have a good basketball team. I've looked significantly further into Eduardo Andre, and he's not as bad as I think people think he is. And I mean that. I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm not saying he's Oscar Tshiebwe, but I'm just saying he's much better than people are giving him credit for. I really do think Eduardo Andre is going to be much more important than people realize for us this year, although the depth at that position is most definitely concerning. So that's something I kind of want to get into a little bit, and I don't know if I can find the guy so that you guys can check the video out, because I don't think it's going to let me I'm afraid to play it. I've been getting hit for copyrights left and right. I did a video yesterday where I did a commit, the high school football commit, John Charles, Olivier something, John Charles, can't even remember his full name now. But anyway, basically it was like a little 20, 30-second clip on WV Football's channel where he was getting out of the vehicle to meet Neil Brown, and it was like showing the stuff that they did. And they had some music on it. I didn't have any, I just didn't even think about it. And I'll be damned if YouTube's got some kind of technology where it just automatically filters it, because like my video, by the time it uploaded to YouTube, it was flagged for copyright. It took it like 12 minutes. So it's insane. Like, you have to be extremely careful or you get hit. You're hit. So let me see if I can find the deal with this guy really quick. Let's see. WVU basketball. All right. Let me see if I can find it here. Yeah, here it is. First thing. It's first thing up. All right. And I really love this guy's lighting. It's another thing I want to look into. I know this doesn't really pertain to streaming or anything, or to what you guys are watching me do. But so it's this video here, WVU 2024 Outlook. And it's this guy right here. And he has a lot of really cool things to say about the WVU basketball team. And the 3 players he highlights are Eduardo Andre, Tucker DeVries, and Javon Small. Now, he does go into Stone a little bit. He goes into one other player, I think, just a touch, but he didn't go through over the whole video. But it's this guy, Green Flag Sports. He does a really good job, guys. I tried to reach out to him and get him on the show because I really liked him that much. Wanted to get his thoughts on things, but he didn't reply. So, I just put a comment underneath. So, I mean, it's, 50-50 on whether somebody's going to see that. He's probably moving on to another project. But if you haven't seen this WVU Outlook 2024 video with this guy, the really cool lighting in the background. It's worth seeing. He said he's going to continue to watch WVU stuff and to talk about us. So I thought that was pretty cool, and most definitely worth checking out. But if you look on here, there's Eduardo Andre. It shows a couple little quick clips of his. He can play. Like, I was pleasantly surprised with some of the stuff that Andre can do. He's good around the rim, much better scorer than you realize around the rim, like touch-wise. He's going to be clutch for us. I really do believe so. All right, let's see. I got a couple comments here to get to. Let's get rid of that. What's up, Mountain Mama? How we doing today? Seen that video. Did a really good job breaking down the team. Agreed. Glenn Marsh, good to see you. I'm sure you've commented on this before, but do you think that there's any interest in WVU getting Pat Sumnick? I think it probably depends on the financials there, to be honest. I mean, being that the market is so small, I would say yes, but he's a bench player, and I don't know that that's what he wants to be relegated to. His last years of college, he could be a big fish in a small pond. If he went down, like if he went to Akron, like with the other guys, I think that would be a great spot for him. Might as well go with him with the other Mountaineers. But yes, I would love to have him on this year's team. I thought he was probably the most improved player on last year's team, Glenn. He really had some nice games against Kansas, scored 20 points, I think it was. I mean, he's proven that he can play. And, his jump shot was getting better. He's definitely a banger and would be great as a backup 5, So I think we would do well to get him back. I just don't know if he wants to come back, Glenn. And I'll try to reach out to him and ask him about it. It's honestly something I keep forgetting to do. I'll do it right now while we're live. Hold on one second. I've got his number here. Okay, hold on one second. Let me send him a message. Let's see. Don't forget to leave some comments down there, guys. All right. All right, guys. Pat Sumnick. There we go. Got him. All right. I'm just going to post a quick thing to him really quick and tell him to message me. That seems to be the easiest thing to do here. Sorry for the dead silence here. But it gave me an idea, so on Patty Sue. That's what I call him anyway, Patty Sue. All right. Done. So, yeah, but I think Patrick would be a good ad. Loved his game against Kansas, different things. Let's see if there's any highlights of what he did on here, because he really did get better. No, nothing that I can see. Okay, at least on X anyway, as it were. So, but back to the other topic, as far as expansion goes, let me know down below, guys, how you feel about the expansion. Is that something that you're for, against, neutral? Do you feel like it conflicts with the possibility of Brett Yormark? Obviously it seems like a pipe dream at this point, but the conventional thought has been that Brett Yormark wants to get away from the NCAA in some form or fashion, so that the Big 12 has some control over the basketball tournament. And if we've got control of that, then we can say, hey, SEC, hey, Big 10, you can't leave us out of this football thing, and we'll leave you out of this basketball thing, But I don't know how much weight that really carries. They may just say, screw you, and we'll just start our own basketball conference. I have no clue, So, but that's been something that's thrown out there, So, all interesting for sure. But yeah, just wanted to throw it out there and see if you thought these expansions, because that's NCAA related, not Big 12 or anybody else trying to take control of the NCAA. Because the way it works is if we, the Big 12, and whoever else we bring into the conference, were to get the money that the NCAA gets for basketball, it would be a lot of money. We could probably give every team in the conference another $20 or $30 million. So, but the NCAA gets the majority of that money now. So, if we were able to say, hey, we're the Big 12, we're the best conference in basketball, we're going to add Gonzaga, we're going to add UConn, we're going to add whoever. But the other side of that is we see what happened with the Big East, right? And we turn it to this basketball conference all of a sudden. Before we know it, the votes are all for basketball, and the conference is dissolving again. And we're like, how the hell did we get here? So I realize it's a dangerous game. Cue the dangerous game music. But I don't know. Just rambling thoughts, guys. Cue the rambling man music. I know I can be cringe at times. I'm good with it though. That's who I am. Not a super active chat tonight. Not gonna lie, guys. A lot of my usual people. I didn't have time to advertise this today. Hey, what's up, John? Didn't have time to advertise this today, and it says the overwhelming majority of you guys are on X, so that probably plays a part, considering I can't see those comments if they are going on, which kind of stinks. I wish I could see them. Can't post comments to some destinations is what it tells me. So, yeah, unfortunately, it just won't let me see that stuff. Now, maybe I need another monitor with like the X stuff, or maybe I can look on my phone. I don't know. I've never tried. It probably screwed me up to watch myself on camera here. Yeah, there I am. It probably screwed me up to watch myself. I'm delayed. All right, so is there even a live chat on there? It probably screwed me up to watch myself. Yeah, there is. I'm really messing around now, ain't I? Is there anybody in there? Just curious. So I've got that up now. If you've got a comment over on there, I can see it on X. I just posted. So there's 39 of you guys watching via X. I think if you post on there, I'll see it. Not exactly sure. Can the Big 12 survive without expanding, like in football? I mean, like as far as like with the ACC teams and stuff? It's a good question, man. I don't have the answer to that, but I think the inclination. I think you got to add. You got to kill. Yeah, you got to kill the ACC to feel resolute and confident in what you got, right? I think what we have is the Big 12, especially if we can. We listen, even if it's not us, we need one of these other brands to ascend and do a Clemson or something like that, and just hope they don't get plucked away. Like a UCF or even us. It would be great if it was us. I would love it if it was us. If we won 3 or 4 Big 12 championships in a row, and all of a sudden we became really attractive on the field. But, we need a team or two to ascend in the Big 12 conference because that's the big knock on the league right now is since Oklahoma and Texas left, we don't have those household brand names anymore. And one thing that there's nothing that builds fan bases for teams more than winning. Do you guys think that Nebraska was a household name before they started winning national championships there in the 70s? No. But did all the kids growing up at that time that seen Nebraska on TV winning championships fall in love with them? Yeah. Didn't have to be in Nebraska. Uh, and and then name the team that dominated during an era. So I think the Big 12 needs a Utah, even whoever it is. I mean, we're not guaranteed any of these teams will stay, but it's our only chance. We need these. We need these teams in the Big 12 to win and win big in the playoffs. We need them to get to the last four and beyond, and we need to do it several years in a row or every other year, and be part of the conversation. Because if you're not part of the conversation, you're not part of the conversation. And when it comes time to have the conversation, you're left out of the conversation. So that's what we're trying to avoid as a conference, much less as a university that everybody loves to look down on anyway. And that includes media, that includes, you name it, from the top down. The West Virginia brand power, while it is on paper extremely powerful, top 35, top 30 in every metric you can use, according to Rim Baker. I'm not seeing anything on X here. Let's see. Nope, just me. Okay, just want to make sure nobody was talking on there. But on paper, so I think the brand equity is there, but how long can you live off of it? I think we've lived off of it as long as we really can, guys. The brand equity that West Virginia University built up in 1988, 1993, 2005, 6, 7, 8, 10, 16 to an extent, is pretty much gone. 2016 was the last good team we had, y'all. You realize that was almost 10 years ago? So our brand, I mean, we're really living off old times at this point, like to a really embarrassing extent, to where people just don't even remember like who we were anymore. They remember our older players, like Pac-Man Jones was on Pat McAfee yesterday, and he looks older. And think about how long ago that was, whenever he was, making it rain in the club. So, that's just where I'm at with it. It's worrisome, though, no doubt about it. And, first and foremost, everybody else be damned. And I know this isn't how it's supposed to be. I mean, if I could figure out, if I knew a way for us all to remain Power 4 or 5, whatever it is going to be, including the teams other than us in the Big 12, I would do it. But I think, the teams in our spot, everybody gets I have to look out for number one kind of attitude, right? And unfortunately, that hurts others when you do that, even though it's the safe thing to do. I mean, if the Big Ten or SEC come calling, do you have a choice? Can you say no? That's what the Big 12 is trying to do with all this. They're trying to give people at least something to think about. I think if we can get within 10 million of the numbers the other two conferences have going on, which is going to be incredibly hard to even get within 20, I think we can stay competitive. If we can't, then the gap is going to continue to widen, and that includes Vanderbilt and all the other rest, unfortunately. Rutgers, I mean, you already see it. You already see it in the last year or two with Rutgers, what they're doing with the extra Big Ten exposure / capital / they're in a recruiting hotbed. I mean, how bitter of a pill to swallow would it be if teams like Rutgers and Vanderbilt got to stay in and we didn't? It'd be sickening, right? So, although this expansion doesn't directly correlate to us being out of any conference or anything like that, it obviously is a part of the larger conversation, unfortunately. Smack the Devil, what's up, brother? I'm no conference genius, but I think the Big 12 needs to tread cautiously and feel things out more. Our new Big 12 commissioner, says Glenn Marsh, is a deal maker and who thinks outside the box. I'm optimistic about our future. He is, but there's just only so much you can do, Glenn. I don't know how. I mean, he's going to have to really work a couple true miracles, like either somebody we don't know about is going to have to take a chance on us uh, as a conference and put us in a position of power. Maybe it's this brand equity deal that they're looking at, which a lot of people say only adds a few million per team in the conference, like 20, I think it is. I may be wrong on that. Um, a lot of people are saying it's a lot to give up for um, very little in return because you're betting on the future of the league. And anyway, I don't know enough about it to speak intelligently on it, to be honest. But I kind of see where I can understand enough to know like it's a dangerous game to play, So it could work out greatly, especially in the short term, which you could argue is more important at in this day and age. Everything is so short term oriented from it's year to year in college football now. Everything's year to year, and that almost includes brand. You can have one bad year and grill off a few, and everything's fine. As to where before one bad year really haunted you for a couple of years in college football. I hope the NCAA doesn't mess with the basketball tournament too much more. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Says Smack the Devil. Yeah, I agree as well. And that's probably the thing that worries me the most is like, God, can you imagine if somehow, and I'm being a little bit pessimistic tonight, so forgive me, but can you imagine if somehow we lose our top spot in football? Maybe we're playing for what the group of five plays for now in that sense, or maybe if it's even more like an FCS type thing. But we've still got basketball, right? Unless they break it. And then we have nothing to root for in any major sport, because like if we move to like, let's say if there ever comes a day where West Virginia's not in the conversation, I don't know what I'll do. I think I've said this before, but I may become a basketball only channel at that point. Like I don't know if I could watch wholeheartedly if we didn't have a chance to win, just a chance. I mean, I know we wake up every year with less chances than most, but that's like what drives it all. Is it's pride of state. It's the pride of the state, at least for me, first. I'm proud of being a West Virginian. I hate how everybody looks down on us. And when West Virginia wins, it's our way of rubbing that in people's faces, right? And so if West Virginia gets kicked out of that party to even prove itself, that would crush me. So, but like if we still had basketball, I could live with it, you know. But if that went away, then you're talking about like the biggest thing in my life. I now have to figure out in another capacity. I have to fall in love with something else, which would be wild. So, hope everybody's having a great evening. Obviously, I'm a little bit doom and gloom tonight. I don't think that's coming anytime soon. And maybe not at all. Who knows? Maybe we keep on surviving and keep moving on into new conferences or however it might work. But at the end of the day, guys, love this West Virginia basketball team. Not a whole lot of movement on the transfer portal scene. It's just not. Patrick Sumnick name got threw out earlier. That's not happening yet. You look at some of the other stuff that we were talking about as far as, with the NCAA and expanding the tournament. That really doesn't affect us too much, but it does possibly dilute the product. And like Jim Phillips said, when do you make the regular season useful? Not even useful at all, because like almost everybody gets in. Anyway, if you can get in with 18 wins, then what is there to strive for? It's relatively easy to get 18 wins. So I did not know that, Smack the Devil. He said, "Hey, Paul, has anybody else told you the notification bell for this channel is a little spotty? I almost missed this live. Talk football seems to work just fine. I wonder if it has anything to do with me putting the live up like 15 minutes before I actually went live. Now, I know what you mean, like, because it should tell you as soon as I actually go live, right? But I also didn't promote it, so like there's that aspect of it too. Like a lot of days, like if I know I have a topic, I'll put it up at like 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon and let it stew all day, and like people, because it'll show up for them, that well then they'll know I'm going to be on live later. But unfortunately in this case I just wasn't able to. It is what it is. Oh, by the way, guys, we're still doing the Garrett Green mini helmet deal, right? It's still here. We've got until the end of the month, which is not much longer. We're talking like 10, 11 more days. So if you want the Garrett Green mini helmet, let me show you how you can get that one more time. We've been running this thing for 2 months now, and we've gotten quite a few people involved. And thank you, Smack. I appreciate that a lot, man. It means a ton. It really does. It's everything to me. So I love that you guys feel that way. And that's exactly what I was striving for when I started the channel. I would hope people that can see my passion for West Virginia sports, Big 12 sports, college sports, pro sports too, but I just don't know that I mean, it's so oversaturated. I don't know if it'd be worth trying. Maybe I should try someday. I don't know. All right, if you want a Garrett Green mini helmet, for free, that's a capital F. You're going to come to WestVirginiaInsiders.com and go over here to Mountaineer Paul Talks Football and hit that subscribe button. You can also join if you want to. I think we got two different ones going right now. I think one's $2.99, one's $6.99. I can't remember. But, Mountaineer Paul Talks Football and subscribe. Look at that, 1.99K. Can somebody get over there and freaking subscribe that's not subscribed? Get me to 2K, please. Tell your wife, tell your family member in the house, somebody, just please get me to 2K. Basketball, same deal. Come to click on, basketball. Or I'm sorry, Mountaineer or Hoops in the Hills. I'm sorry, not basketball. And you'll see this and just hit that subscribe button there. And it's all from WestVirginiaInsiders.com. And then you're going to go to forums, which is pretty easy. Go to general, and then just post in the giveaway right here. So that's pretty much it. Hope you guys that want to be involved are involved. Oh, by the way, make sure I know what your name is on YouTube. Make sure I know what your name is on the forum. Make sure they're connected in some way, or tell me what one or the other is. That way I know who you are on one or the other. Like, basically, if your name is Joe Schmo on YouTube, on the comment section of the forum, say, hey, this is Joe Schmo from YouTube. Or if you make the same name, whatever, So, Eric, I don't care to answer the question again, brother. From what I understand, there's a little bit of mutual interest. I have reached out to Pat. I think it's probably a numbers thing. There's a reason he went back into the portal so late. It's because he's looking for a payday, if I had to guess, right? Now, I heard there was some stuff that happened at DePaul. I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet, and I don't want to speak on it if it's not true, right? But I did hear that in passing. It's not a story I've kept up with on a ton because I love Pat. I think he'd be great for this team. I really do. But I don't know how much he moves the needle for people. So it's not something that I've kept up on a ton. Personally, I think he'd be great. He's exactly what we need. I mean, do we need or do we want a higher level player if we could get it? Absolutely, we do. But we would, Pat Summick scored double figures against Kansas and other teams last year. He can absolutely play when, especially he'd be surrounded by a better team this year. Much more spaced out floor, and we would love him to rebound, and he can play defense as well to an extent. So I certainly think he would fit on this team. I just don't know what the dealio is on it 100%. But I will let you know, guys, on the next episode if something shakes with Patty Sue. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Certainly don't forget we need Gabe on this team, no doubt, to subscribe to the channel. It's like I said, a couple of y'all get over the Mountaineer Paul Talk Football and subscribe, or have somebody subscribe so I can get to 2K, if you can. Other than that, guys, I don't have a whole lot else for this evening. Wasn't a lot to talk about. There's just not a lot of news right now. I'm doing everything I can to keep this channel alive while we wait for news to happen. Man, it was like we went for 2-3 months there almost every day, and now it's like I'm having to rely on national news stories to keep it going. But it is what it is, guys. Just stick with it. We'll get it. We'll get some stuff popping off here before too long. I mean, it's the off season for both, so it's not exactly the ideal time anyway. Hope you enjoyed the episode, guys. Keep coming back, and I'll see you next time. This has been another episode of Mountaineer Paul on Hoops from the Hills. This episode is over, and I am out.